Just cough all the corona out of me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Right, let's start it off. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the 01206 Book Club. It's been a busy few weeks. We're just trying to sort out, as I said, new guests, new things coming up. We're trying out lots of stuff, and we hope everyone is well at home. Tonight, we are joined by Mr. Alan Rushbrooke. Say hello, Al. There he is.
Hello.
And we've got our usual crew of miscreants along the way as well. Everyone else say hello.
Hi.
Hello. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Alan's joining us this evening, and we're going to kind of change location a little bit from East Anglia and kind of move into a different area, talk about different scenes. For those who don't know, Alan does live in this area now, so he's a kind of alien in a strange place, I suppose. But you've lived here for quite a few years now, Alan, haven't you?
Yeah, well, 7 years now.
7 years, okay.
7, 8 years, yeah.
I don't know, is that official now? You're part of this area? Is that how it works?
I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know. We're unsure.
A few ceremonies yet it needs to complete.
Okay,
yeah,
so
different subject.
Different episode that one.
Yeah.
So, Alan, I just wanted to start off just by talking to you about where you grew up or where you're kind of from, and talk about that early sort of scene there. So, your background's from skating in Nottingham, but were you born there, or where were you born? Let's start a bit earlier.
So I was born in Hanover in Germany.
Okay. Wow.
So my dad was in the army basically, so I was born out there, and then travelled around through the forces, do you know what I mean, across most of the UK, lived for a bit, all that sort of stuff. But then like we kind of set up roots in Nottingham generally. I probably lived most of my life, I would say, in Nottingham, do you know what I mean? So not at home, but then I think the nomad that is in me comes from travelling around as a youngster, constantly moving about through the armed forces.
Yeah, I can empathise with that. I mean, how long did you spend in one place? Was it quite a short period of time? Was it like a little bit and then moving on?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can't like remember a lot of the kind of movements and stuff. I guess you'd probably be at places maybe a year, could be like a couple of years, stuff like that. I remember, I think Germany, we were there for maybe 3-4 years.
Yeah, usually it's 3 years, isn't it, or something like that for like a posting.
Depends on where you got to go.
Exactly.
You just get ferried about, and then you're like a little street rat in this little enclosed armed forces area.
Did you begin skating in Nottingham, or was it while you're travelling around living?
Yeah, it was in Nottingham actually. Yeah, but I say probably before that was when we were in Ireland, because my mum's Irish basically. So we go over and see Auntie and all the old Dorises and everyone in this small little village. You know what I mean, where they live, and I had a little polyprop kind of penny type board, but I think it was probably before even penny existed. And I'd bomb down a hill, and then I think I noticed in the local like news agents, they had a skateboard for sale in there. So begged and pleaded, could I get my skateboard from this shop? I think it was like 15 quid. It was a Turbo 2.
Nice.
And that's in Ireland. That's in Ireland you bought that?
Yeah. And then I bombed down the hill, and I think first bomb down the hill, I was like on the front and skated along, and then basically my fingers just went straight over the ripped my skin.
We all know that pain.
Yeah.
You know? But,
it hooked ever since.
It's good fun. I mean, clearly it was the skateboard's fault. So the bearings don't even work on those things. But
Sure. I mean, wheels don't flow.
Bombing hills in Ireland, that's definitely a tough beginning, isn't it? Because they're not the most, they're not the most even of roads and stuff like that out there. It's not. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just think that's quite an induction into skateboarding, definitely.
Yeah, it's all right. And then and then when we got back, I lived in Chilwell at that time, basically, and then. I guess I got the skate bug skating outside. So I don't know, you play outside, and we'd play a game called Kirby where you'd throw the ball and
Kirby. Yeah.
People were addicted. I mean, and then like skateboarding was the same. So I just skated the curb outside my house for probably 3-4 months, and then
Yeah.
I think, and then at the end of the road, I saw like another kid skate like down the road, and you're like, what the fuck?
Someone else.
Yeah.
There's someone else. And then I discovered that there's a half pipe kind of further down the road in Beeston, at a youth club in Beeston. So
Oh
we
wow. Okay.
go down there, and that's how I started, I guess, down in Beeston.
So did you know anything about skating, or did you just get a skateboard because you liked the look of it, and it was something that intrigued you, or did you kind of have an awareness of skateboarding?
I had zero awareness of skateboarding. So no, all I knew was my blue plastic skateboard, and then I knew my Turbo 2, and then that was it. And then
So the kid down the street, was he on a similar vibe, or did you hang out with him then, or?
Yeah, it was a guy called Hugo. He was I think he had like a regular board. You know what I mean? So he didn't have a Turbo 2, basically.
No.
So I didn't actually meet him for a little bit later. Kind of, I'd go down to Beeston the Shed, and I'd kind of just hang around like the grommet. Do you know what I mean? Watching older dudes and their big wavy hair and their tight pacer shorts and
Nice.
stuff. You know what I mean? But, yeah, sexy skateboarding.
Yeah.
What year was that, Alan?
Ooh, Jesus.
I'm testing you
I
now.
reckon it was probably like it would have been late 80s, I reckon.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm pretty shite with dates, to be honest.
Like London.
Yeah.
I'd say like late 80s, do you know what I mean, would be kind of that period. And there was all like the older boys who could, they could skate, they were riding vert ramps, do you know what I mean? And then there was obviously a new generation of people who were down there, who are most of my friends from kind of back up there. And I mean, that's when I met like Helicar and stuff like that, do you know what I mean, where riding my Pacer skateboard my Turbo 2 skateboard on the and getting nowhere because there's the bearings are so shy and the wheels. In fact, it's not even a skateboard basically. So,
was it just a vert ramp there then?
Yeah, it's just a vert ramp. It was probably
Induction
On a Turbo 2, Jesus.
10 foot high. Had a little roll in,
shit.
something like that. Had like I don't know, really small platforms on it that were probably held up by a twig at the back of the thing, like a proper ramp, proper old.
Yeah.
Yeah, so your baptism was pretty like harsh then, straight into a 10-foot vert ramp. when did you drop in? That's the key question. That all
Not on the
kids want
Turbo
to know.
2, please.
Surely.
No, not on the Turbo 2.
Yeah.
That probably came later. But no. So I didn't drop in on a vert ramp for a while actually, because that ramp got cut down and made ramp and lowered down to another section of the youth club we were at, or where we go to. And then the first vert ramp I dropped in on was Jacksdale, which was it's like a village outside Mansfield, and they had a ramp in the car park there as well. And yeah, I don't know. I remember dropping in, and basically all you do on the first drop in is free fall for about 8 foot. You land 2 foot down, and then you kind of ride to the other side, and you're like, "I made it!
I'm alive."
Does everyone remember the first time they dropped in on a mini ramp or a transition?
Yep, very well.
I remember slapping the flat bottom really hard a good few times before I made it.
It's one of the scariest things in the world.
It's horrible, yeah.
It's such a weird thing, isn't it? Like just to let yourself go and trust it.
Lean into it. Yeah. It's horrible.
Never wanted to lean into it, did you? Always lean back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do the manual down the ramp, straight legged. Just go.
I remember once driving to Radlands with Sandy, I think, and Mike Fish, and he got in and Fish just went straight to the vert ramp and just dropped in, aired the vert, aired everything, and just landed on the flat bottom. We just got there, literally just got there. And it's one of those moments, where everyone just goes, "No, I'm just going to sit down for a while." And
that'll do.
Breath.
Yeah.
We're in a Wakefield wakey all-nighter years back, and like, bless you, Bears.
Thank you very much.
There was a build. Basically, the guy who owned it was like a builder, do you know what I mean, and stuff. And I think he was off it on one night, just hammered drinking and stuff. And he was like, drop in on the vert ramp, and he's literally wearing like work boots, like a boots and everything. Dropped in, absolutely ate shit, and then like hobbled off. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
dear.
yeah,
Are
it
these
was funny but not funny.
Are these vert ramps with parks, or is it just like a standalone vert ramp and nothing else with it?
Beeston was
Or like the first couple of ones that you saw?
first ones I saw. So Beeston was just a vert ramp. That was it. Like,
Yeah, didn't
Strange thing to build, just
Yeah.
a vert.
Well, at the time,
And
it's
that's
not
quite
though, is
common,
it?
isn't
Yeah. In the late 80s, I think that would be the common denominator. Like someone just had a vert ramp or a mini ramp and things like that. Because most parks were like that, weren't they? As well, just like ramp kind of complexes, weren't they?
How often do you get a vert ramp built now? It's like outdoors. Never.
You don't. Health and safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's Brighton too.
Brighton Sea for the Sprite. What was it? Urban Games or something? The one in Brighton Sea, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, got that, didn't it? Yeah.
Oh, wow. I don't even think I ever went on it. So, Alan, you were in Nottingham at this stage, sort of late 80s, early 90s. Did skateboarding just take over? Was it that thing that just took over really quickly? Were you like obsessed with it?
Yeah, I was addicted. Do you know what I mean? Within from that trip to Ireland, do you know what I mean? And then going down and seeing this whole new world, do you know what I mean? In Beeston, and then just opened us up from there. And I think that would have been when I was 13, basically. So that moment onwards was just skating every day for probably 8-10 hours a day. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
As soon as I could get out of school, like, when I say get out of school, school and you're allowed. Like I left at the first opportunity, do you know what I mean? And then started a YTS at the local skate shop and stuff. And then meant I could skate more and all that sort of stuff. So yeah.
YTS is a youth training scheme. Is that around early 90s? Those things were around, weren't they?
Yeah, 25 quid a week, I think you get.
I was about to say something like that, wasn't it? Yeah.
£25 a week. Wow.
Yeah. Full-time job for 25 quid.
At a skate shop, though, that's pretty good.
Yeah, at a skate shop when you're like, how old would you have been then? Like 16?
Yeah, 16 basically. So I think from 16 to probably like 18, 19, before things, I guess, changed quite a bit. Do you know what I mean? I was just working there. So I went from a YTS to a full-time employee.
Whoa.
Congratulations.
What was the skate shop called?
It was non-stop.
Non-stop. Okay.
Nice.
Wow. Okay. Cool. And when did you kind of start to realise that you had a talent for it? That you had a kind of obviously you're obsessed with it, like we all were. But there's a certain point when you start to kind of accelerate a little bit more, and there seemed to be a natural flow from. You can see an early footage of you, like a natural flow with it, a natural kind of progression was happening quite quickly.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever, really think of, that sort of progression. I think probably like 16-ish, I started probably getting some floats and bits. Do you know what I mean? And then around 18, I guess at that time sort of skating, it was more, you probably have to travel. Well, you'd have to travel a lot anyway to skate. There wasn't as many skate parks as there is now, or like not spots. Do you know what I mean? But like you travelled, like basically to go places, and then I guess I would say it's almost you almost got lucky if you were in the right scene. Do you know what I mean? Like if you joined not the right scene, but like you might bump into like a Wigwam or a Horsley or guys from Rad or et cetera, et cetera. It's like back then there was, as we all know, it's like it wasn't super accessible. Do you know what I mean? Like skateboarding as a whole, it's not like instantly there on a phone. Like you just go and skate stuff, and then I think it's probably more like word of mouth, I guess. But for me, it just it's just going skating. Do you know what I mean? And then
did you do competitions and stuff like that to get, like you said, travel around that kind of?
I did, yeah. Did quite a few comps, but whether we took them seriously or not is a. But I think I've still got it somewhere. I should probably find it. But I did. I think the first comp I entered, like officially kind of entered. Do you know what I mean? Like outside of my local area was at St Albans, and
classic.
when Ricard Bissetta and Salman Agar were over. And
what year was that?
I think I'm going to say, I reckon it's like 91.
Oh wow, okay.
I don't know. It's on the plaque because I got first place. Oh,
Whoa,
Nice.
Ramp champ,
That's the-
ramp champ.
Yeah.
Rick Ibisetta and Salman Algar gave me that trophy, that plastic
Oh,
trophy.
wow.
I mean, you know, come on.
Yeah.
Like,
That is
so
a claim
it's
right
somewhere in
Damn
there.
there.
good.
It's in there somewhere. Do you know what I mean? But,
Mm.
and then after that, it kind of, you know, my comp career went downhill. You know,
You peaked early.
yeah.
Peaked in your
Career.
first comp.
Started
All
realizing
downhill.
it was all a bit too serious. So like, let's have fancy dress and muck about, and yeah.
Was transition always a natural thing for you? Because we're going to watch some footage in a minute, but it seems like that seems to be where in all of your footage, everything I've seen and skating with you, I know you've got a real nice flow to the way you kind of skate around. But was transition something that it looks like that was almost natural for you? Is that what?
Yeah, I never. I mean, again, I never really thought of it like in that way. For me, it was just always just skateboarding, anything skateboarding.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess. I mean, you know, with the start being, you know, starting out on a vert ramp essentially, and then
Mhm.
you know, skating mini ramps and generally like a few parks and stuff. But I never looked at it as like I'm riding sort of transition or whether I'm skating street or anything like that. It's just going skateboarding. Do you know what I mean? There's no difference to me in my mindset about, you know, whether I was one or the other or I felt a certain way. Do you know what I mean?
I think you get used to where you grow up or what you've got around you. I think
Yeah,
the environment breeds what type of skateboarder you end up becoming. I
Yeah.
think if you've just got like gritty street spots, then
And I
that's
think,
what
like,
you become, isn't it? And then
you know, back in the day, we'd have like, you know, you'd have the vert ramp or a mini ramp or you know, a shitty skate park. But then, to be honest, like you'd go out and street skate all the time. Do you know what I mean? So we'd have things like, you know, Broady Banks. We could skate the Market Square. You know, later on, you know, living, you know, traveling, staying in Bristol. Do you know what I mean? London, all those sort of places. Like proper sick for street skating. Do you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I don't know. And also there.
yeah.
Ramps and that, they're all like these shitty things that council had left behind, just mess, didn't they?
Scrap.
No upkeep.
Yeah, scrap metal everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, unless you wanted to slice your hand off on some shitty metal
Yeah.
thing, or go and skate some rad banks or something. It's like, I'll take it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So I'm just going to show this part from a scene video from '92 called Knots Landing, which was a Nottingham scene video. I spoke to Ben Powell earlier today, and he said it was made by a guy called Stuart Hiley. I don't know whether that's true or not. We're just going to kind of shout it out there just in case he is watching.
Well done, Stuart.
Yeah, well done, Stuart. But this part I think was
Stuart.
Yeah, Stuart.
Cheers, Stu.
I'm going to show you, but this part's really cool because it's got a real. I was saying to Alan earlier, it's got a real GNS kind of vibe. It's I mean, he skates the Dinosaur Junior, which is already a win. But it's just
Definite win.
It very much typifies a certain moment. So I'll just share this with you now. See, there you go. I'll just put it on. You guys see that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a black screen at the moment, so you're not seeing too much. Okay. It's got that. Could you see that cool? I was saying to Alan earlier. It's got this. They've spent some time with these cool, like little titles at the beginning. It's just got that real nice, like I say, early Alien Workshop GNS kind of vibe.
Adidas Gazelles, green
Yeah.
cords, and a stripy polo, I reckon there.
The green. You ran the green cords for quite some time. I found a photo of you earlier with, I think almost probably with the same ones on, doing a back tail in a Lord sweatshirt as well. But
Yeah.
that's definitely
Henry Sanchez period.
Yes, yes, that's what I was going to say here. So where's this ramp, Alan?
That's Bestwood, I think. Yeah, Bestwood. Another
Bestwood.
place just outside Nottingham.
And that's an indoor park?
That's Chilwell.
Oh,
That's
Jesus.
Chilwell. We built that.
Scrap metal.
Let's just talk about this mini a little bit longer though, because this is what I was saying about mini ramps in skate parks. They always had the spine, a rollover, and things like that as well.
Oh, spine ramps. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And volcanoes. Beautiful.
But
That's
you
quite
see
a
what I'm
big
saying?
mini ramp.
Yeah, it is a big mini, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is.
There's all the transition like geese go, no, I don't want to skate that. Alan's going, yes, get it bigger, get it bigger.
Yeah.
No, really, everyone's going street's cool. Like, who's the knobhead on the ramp?
Yeah.
You
Don't
have
have your
got it.
back
You
to the
have got
ramp,
it to
though.
yourself, though. You have got it to yourself, haven't you? All those kids are like, "Nah, mate, we're skating the gas pipe or the slider bar," and you're like, "No, I'm just thrashing this mini out."
Can you see? I don't know. You can pause it in the background. There's that. Oh, it's between the legs there. That quarter pipe there.
Right.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, really, like the Bestwood Park was more of a BMX park.
Oh, okay.
It was like indoor, like I think like a youth club type thing, but it was more.
Right.
So, if you can see, like the transition on the vert ramp was like horrific.
It looks horrific.
Yeah.
And then the quarter pipe was literally. I mean, like there was no anywhere near the top at all ever. Like,
It's like 6 foot of vert or something. It's just crazy. What was the driveway like?
that wasn't too bad. It was quite, it was quite, it was bigger and whippy, but it just wasn't big enough. It wasn't like a Radlands driveway. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
So what are all these guys skating then?
You're just waiting around.
Just waiting.
Yellow tube.
It must be a yellow gas pipe. Surely there's a slider pipe there. That's what it has to be.
I think this is actually, to be honest, I think the reason there's so many people actually is that this was a sesh with Shipman was there as well.
Oh wow!
And this was when I think Plan B were over, so we Daniel McKay and that. So
nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hence all of the polo shirts, stripy ones,
uniforms.
and yeah.
Well, there's some street action there.
Yeah.
And these spots, they are. Do you know what I mean? To be fair, I would love all this stuff now.
Look how many things there is to grind on
You know that quote, but you know this.
20 options.
Yeah.
Drop downs, right?
So many options.
Do you know this street bit here?
Yeah.
That's the old vert ramp from Beeston.
What, just chopped up?
Yeah, we used the old bits of ply and all that, and the metal and everything, and put it
Wow.
together.
Good.
Oh, so you guys made this, as you said. You guys put this together.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And then Chilwell, this area where the ramp is and stuff. I mean, this ramp was beautiful. It was amazing. But
yeah, you killed this ramp. Oh, that's lovely.
this was when it got resurfaced and it was metal, but then it became like the bacon slicer. So if you slice anything to pieces, do you know what I mean? I think the platform fell off it at one point as well. But yeah. And this is Hugo in the green.
Yeah. Oh, he's your pal, isn't he? Doubles.
Yeah, old days.
Wow.
But yeah,
how big is this ramp? It looks pretty big as well.
Chilwell, I think it was probably I think it was 6 and then 8 on the tombs.
Jesus.
But it's lovely, beautiful.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and this was again made out of the old Beeston vert ramp, and then some local building places suddenly had loads of wood around their sites, and then it just suddenly was made into a ramp as well.
Ah, miraculously appeared.
Yeah, don't know how it got there, but yeah.
It's very strange that when you're, especially during the kind of, I would say like 90s, that it seemed to, and probably 2000s as well, we seem to think it was okay to go and loot like building sites.
Yeah.
Like how, I mean, you ask any skateboarder, we just picked up the wood at night from the building site. Like, how ridiculously is that to go onto a building site, take the wood,
metal sign for the kicker to bump, as we've mentioned before. We always needed the metal sign somewhere. We always got them in your boot and like just taking them off stuff. Like what?
They're handy.
Breaking into a primary school, like sorry kids, I need that.
To take them away, would you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, it'd just be like you'd put it on a board and you would just down the road for like,
and wheel it down the road as well. Just like flagrant disregard for any law. I'm building a ramp. Why can't I have this plywood? Is what you have in your head anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rad though. This place. Where's this? Is this the
that's Bestwood again.
Yeah.
That's that
was that little nose tap revert, like nose stool revert tappy thing?
It was when my legs worked. Yeah.
So do you remember this stuff being filmed, or was it just some guy just filming in the background, or?
No, I remember filming it. We filmed obviously a section and stuff. So
yeah, was it conscious then that all of this stuff, like to film like parts and things like that? Because that's kind of a subject that comes up all the time. Is was this just you guys skating around, or was it just, oh, okay, let's put a video together?
Yeah, I think it was just, I don't know, if someone had a video camera and let's just film some stuff. I don't even think we even thought like he was putting a video together or we were even doing anything. It was just
doing it, yeah.
Just happened to come together.
let's film stuff, yeah. There's a
Yeah.
classic Deathbox Carlsberg t-shirt there as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's rad, isn't it? So, do you remember what boards you were riding at this stage?
It's actually Deathbox anyway at that time because
Yeah.
I got like a flow deal at that time. Just
Oh,
before,
wow.
yeah.
So you
starting, so.
So you were getting flowed from, was that through the shop or?
No, well, I don't know. It was a friend of mine, Dave. He used to be like he used to do the sales and kind of do a lot of stuff with Deathbox and that. And then,
Oh, cool.
so I guess around that sort of time was when more stuff was going on for me. Do you know what I mean? So then I had not a random call, but I'd just get flown some product and stuff, and then we'll see how it went, kind of thing. But a few kind of Deathbox trips were planned. I discovered that I didn't actually have a passport, so I couldn't go to some of the events that would.
Oh,
shit.
Sort of stuff.
So did you
that
hang
would
out
be-
with Molly and people like that there at the time?
Yeah. So Molly and all of them basically. Yeah.
Where was Deathbox based at that point then?
I think it was like Northampton sort of area.
How was it? Right,
I mean, it was down near sort of Radlands and stuff. And then it was just before, not just before, it's probably like a year or so after when they moved to the US and obviously started flipping everything.
Right.
So around that sort of time. But Molly, Jeff, all of that lot kind of thing.
Wow.
I hang out a little bit with, do you know what I mean? And then,
And how was that influence on you then? Like, did that really impact your,
Yeah, it's rad. Well, it's rad. I mean, watching Molly and like how incredible he is. You know what I mean?
Ridiculous.
Because
Absolutely,
the amount of shit he's like invented and the way he skated and like, you check some of the stuff he's doing back in.
I know early stuff. You can't even believe like.
No one's doing that.
Yeah, no one's doing that. Those Roller Snakes videos, even earlier than that, you just seeing all. 720 is that? That's the lowest. Yeah. He's doing stuff on that.
540, yeah.
540 and all those. Yeah, and you just think, wow, what's.
And then skating with Jeff and stuff like that. But I think again, like it's just like going to skate with your mate, isn't it? It's not like there's no different. It's just someone's having a rad session, and the sessions get a bit crazy.
Yeah, I bet. Well, who was that guy who really influenced you? You obviously got British people you're skating with and stuff like that. Who's that guy that really stoked your fire, that got you going?
It would probably be, I guess, like early days would probably be like Danny Way. Do you know what I mean? Like, because that's like growing up and then getting into skating, and then like there was the power vids and all that, which were great. Do you know what I mean? But I'd probably be more in the like Ray Barbie kind of camp, and then I'd be the Plan B kind of stuff where it was totally different. Do you know what I mean? So I mean, there's so many good skaters. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, there's so many good local skaters. Do you know what I mean? Like in every village or every, do you know what I mean, across the freaking globe. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But some of them get recognition. Some of them get more. Some of them get a lot less, and some just fade away. But
So in terms of Danny Way, though, are you talking like questionable and virtual reality, that early Plan B kind of era?
Yeah. And I think there's like earlier stuff of him, but I think it was the progression thing. Do you know what I mean? Like that move out of that early kind of 80s sort of style of skateboarding into like modern day skating and street tricks on vert. It's not even street tricks on vert. Do you know what I mean? But that's how I think it came across. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
To most people. Do you know what I mean? So I think like him, and then and then there's like Cardial. Do you know what I mean? And Stranger and stuff. Pure style and power. Do you know what I mean? And stuff. But then equally there's Mike Carroll's. Do you know what I mean? There's all sorts. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't.
I mean, that was something I was going to say. There seems to be that rawness to the way you skate. There's definitely that power kind of coming through. Even just skating mini ramp, you can see it, just the way you're kind of moving into tricks and the tricks you're doing and stuff like that. Was that something, again, I mean, it might not be a conscious thing, you might just be skating, but did you always want to just ollie high or air high and stuff like that? There seems to be that kind of vibe going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I think subconsciously maybe like I don't know about you guys, but like, you know, if you do a trick and then you think you see someone do a trick, do you know what I mean? And then you're
Yeah.
like, that's how I want to do it.
Yeah.
Like, and that's how I would think. Like, it's like if you learn, I mean, like an ollie's the most like basic thing, but it's the most important thing. It's like if you an ollie right, you're fucked. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
That's why I was screwed the whole time. Couldn't ollie right.
you know, I don't know, you know, people might mess around trying to learn every other thing, but for me, it was always like try and find the trick, you know what I mean, the trick, and then like keep trying it until it felt like really, really natural. Do you know what I mean? And then how I feel it should feel. Do you know what I mean? You know, but
Yeah, makes sense.
at the same time, it's like looking at how people skate. As in, like looking through a magazine and going like, "Oh, they've tweaked it. Like, oh, that looks good." Like, how, do you know what I mean? You know, so you look at, I don't know, people like Wainwright and stuff, who's just like sick. Do you know what I mean? Believe, do you know what I mean, on the tricks he was doing and like, and still does, and how he skates. And then like, again, I mean, there's a dude who's perfected the ollie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was going to say, absolutely.
Someone posted something of him today, actually, tray flipping London Bridge 10.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I forgot he did that, and that was just the way he tweaks his legs on that. I know we speak about tray flips the other day on Jack's episode, but like, it's just, well, I don't know how old that footage is as well.
I just did that snap. It's just that, but the thing is with Danny as well is that raw power, like the way he just confidently moves towards something, clears it. Do you know what I mean? There's never any hesitation as well. He doesn't. I've never seen him like awkwardly fall off or bail. He's just like very confident when he approaches.
Be helpful when you've got the world's highest ollie. You don't.
Exactly. You don't have to worry about block when you're coming up to something. Yeah. Will I get onto it? Yeah, get onto it. Don't worry, mate.
But yeah, it's, you know what I mean, it's, I think it's, you know, there's an artistry in skateboarding, isn't there?
Definitely.
And it's
Which
like,
I think is missed a lot. I think a lot of kids will try and learn as much as possible as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
all
that's
the
where you get that
tricks.
sort of style where it's just like things are flopping about and things. But if you like you said, that's pretty admirable to like stick at a trick until you've absolutely nailed it.
yeah,
And look at it, say actually this could be better. It could be done like that. That's cool. Like I don't think many people do that actually. I think.
Well, I personally think that, and going back to what Alan's point there, is that in retrospect, looking at my own skateboarding, I would spend many, many more years perfecting the ollie. And you look at, like you say, you look at certain people like Danny, Alan, as an example, people who've perfected just that basic move, that fundamental, but how that then traverses into every other trick. And you're right, Sam, I don't think kids spend enough time learning that basic before they're trying to flip it or do whatever, or do you know what I mean? Jump downstairs and things like that. It's just
scrapey flip across the floor. Do you know what I mean? Or like proper hopped flip that's caught, like, I know, or a 360 flip. Like,
we've all seen those kids.
Like
all seen
Kareem
those kids.
Campbell, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, we can't get started on Kareem. There's already a long discussion about Kareem.
There's already a lawsuit against us now.
We can't talk about Kareem. Where are we at? So basically, we were talking about influences, and obviously something that plays a really big part, just knowing you as well, is kind of the influences of music and stuff like that. I mean, in that part, you're skating to Dinosaur Jr., in Head Cleaner, the Unabomber video, you're skating to Modest Mouse. Do you know what I mean? You always choose quite a core music. Is music something that's always inspired you and been a big part of who you are?
I mean, I'm a massive music nerd. Do you know what I mean? But I got, you know, just got lucky on a few things. Do you know what I mean? So like that early Knots Landing one, in that period of time, I really wasn't that bothered about music at all.
Really?
I was just into skateboarding. I couldn't care what bands were what, or
Really?
You know what I mean?
Like, claimed that and got away with it.
Yeah, and then
you could have claimed an early
cool,
Dinosaur Jr. love.
Scared to Dinosaur Jr. Cool. I didn't know that. Yeah, but yeah. Changed it completely. Like, I really, really chose all of the.
Good. That's much better. That's a much better way.
We'll edit that bit out. Yeah.
I just so just sort of fluke really, but I think it's also maybe with those early videos was that because we were a tight group. Do you know what I mean? When we were doing that mates video, we'd be sat together and they'd stick a track on, we'd kind of edit it to it. Do you know what I mean? If I think about like the Unipromo was kind of a similar scenario, do you know what I mean? And like what's it called? Head Cleaner, do you know what I mean? With So it's like I really like that track, and then we just like Badger overlaid it with the skate, and it just fitted instantly. Like literally did like, I think he did like a few tweaks on it, and then it was done. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it just worked.
But I think music really brings scenes together. I always remember listening to the same bands that my friends listened to because they thought that band was cool. So then by proxy, I would think that band was cool, and then it opens up. And I think for skateboarders, and I'm sure you guys will agree, skateboarding unlocked music for me quite a lot, because in a skate video, you'd hear a part and you'd be like, what is that song? You'd find that part out, and you'd buy the album, and then I know this is antiquated, you get the tape. You know what I mean? You bootleg that tape for someone else, and then it just, I think that's how I learned about music through skate videos. I think it's just such an important part.
Yeah, mine was the same, massively so. And then you end up in like, you know, it might be you search out music for years because it's been on a skate video and you don't know what the fuck it is at all. Then you randomly come across it eventually. And then, like, you know, back to the time, like, you know, Carl out in like Bristol and stuff. I mean, like that whole scene with like the trip hop scene and everything, and hip hop and stuff. It was like time to be in Bristol at that point. Do you know what I mean? So it was like the skate scene was heavily connected with that scene. Do you know what I mean? And it was like, it was rad. Do you know what I mean? Like there was good places to go, people doing rad shit. Do you know what I mean? And it's like that. I think skateboarders naturally like, you know, move over to music because of the artistry and because of the you know.
They're closely connected, aren't they? They're closely connected.
You know what I mean? And stuff. Yeah. You know, and then, but yeah, you know, I don't know. Music's, I'm quite passionate about my music.
But I think it's a good connector. Like skateboarding, for me, I probably wouldn't have heard of half those bands. I probably wouldn't have been invested in as much hip hop music or as much kind of heavy metal music or as much kind of alternative music without skateboarding, because like I definitely wouldn't know Sonic Youth if Ed Templeton hadn't skated to it. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't have known EPMD or anything like, do you know what I mean? All these kind of bands that you just wouldn't find out about unless skateboarding was connected. And now all of us do this, is that some people who have never heard a band before because they've never been involved in skateboarding, but we have this huge eclectic knowledge of music just from watching skate videos.
I was going to say the same, a real eclectic kind of taste, and I think that's that maybe with skating, what it is that, you know, you generally skate. I mean, in our day, it might have changed a bit, but you know, you're out and about and you're on the street. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, you're involved with like lots of different scenes and stuff going on. But like, you know, for me, I used to spend most of my time like in the city centre skating around. Do you know what I mean? And opened up to those scenes as well. So street kind of meets it as well. Do you know what I mean? And I think through the skating kind of thing, watching lots of skate videos, it produces such an eclectic taste of music. Do you know what I mean? You know,
it does.
Definitely. I remember as a kid as well, like when this is like really young, when you see a section, I don't know, from even like from the S video, Manic Matty, you see some of the songs you don't even really think about the song at first. The more you watch the section, because you love the skating, that song was like, oh, I love that song now. Like
fall in love with the track as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that person skating makes you like the song, or sometimes vice versa. The song's amazing, and that you maybe like that section. So it completely, like you say, binds everything together so well. And like as you said, I would never have had as many bands that I would have known about early days without watching all those skate videos. Even like the old 411s. How many days of footage have you watched? You're like, what's that band? Some of them are crap, obviously, but a lot of them are just.
411 did have some fucking.
Absolutely, but just the knowledge, like, and then obviously zero videos, you get a bit more.
But I think also you can watch those and then like. You know, how like, you know, you watch a skate video and you see how someone's skating and doing a trick, you know what I mean? And then like, I don't, you know, I can think of like, if I'm trying to have if we're back in the day, trying to have a really good skate session, I might think of section and I'd think of that guy skating and then it'd be like sick, and then you get hyped.
It helps with visualization, totally. I mean, there's certain tracks which today I was just had Spotify on, and Jamie Thomas's song from Welcome to Hell come on, and just as soon as it starts, it's like, oh shit,
Goosebumps.
Let's goosebumps. Let's just do this. And whatever it is, I might have been doing the washing up or whatever. I'm like, I'm doing this washing up. It's happening. It's going down.
And you could be
He's
in,
scrubbing them plates
be in
down
the
for
pub
it.
with a load of people, and it'd be like, and there'd be a load of skaters, and the skaters would be like, yes,
Yes.
I remember being at a club in LA. And this is a weird story, but that Danzig's mother came on, and I don't think many people. There weren't many skaters in there, but obviously as a skater, when that comes on, you're just like fucking going for it, and everyone just thought I was just. That something had gone wrong in my brain or something, just because of that song had come on. I was thinking about Eric Ellington. I was like, let's fucking do this. This is great.
What type of club was that?
Yeah, it was one of those. So we won't talk about that. Edit that.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I think music is that. It's very universal. It connects all of us together somehow. Even if we disagree on the music, we're unified by the part it's in and things like that. So it's a really good connecting device, I think, for conversations, for meeting new people as well, definitely. So I think that's kind of interesting. So you kind of mentioned there a couple of the videos, and I want to talk about Unabomber. Obviously, that's the company that you turned pro for. Was that a conscious? Yeah, there's a lot of love there. You were there from the beginning of that, right early doors.
Yeah. 4th of July, 97.
Wow!
Wow!
Yeah.
That's not tattooed anywhere, is it?
No, but it's in there because and it was a bizarre coincidence. Is when Unabomber started. Is obviously Independence Day. Do you know what I mean? Like so. Like it was never supposed to be that connection at all, but it just happened that way.
Okay.
I mean,
Time
is rad. But
how did it start? How did it all start?
I think Helicar and Johnny Robbo, John Robinson had been chatting about setting up a company and stuff, and then me and Harry were in the States basically at that time. So Harry was that's when he was riding for Toy Machine.
Oh wow! I never knew that he rode for Toy Machine.
Yeah, he was on a flow deal with those guys, and then I was getting product from Ray and Gary and that, who did like deluxe sort of products. So I was getting anti-hero stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, fucking love that brand.
Okay, well let's back up. Let's talk about. So you guys were in the States. What was that for then? Just a trip out there, or?
Yeah, so that was for my 18th birthday, when you get given like a savings book from your parents, money and all this sort of stuff. And knew I was obviously addicted to skateboarding and etc. So gave me my money, which was like a lot of money. Do you know what I mean, to get at that time? And there was also a return ticket to San Francisco. So
wow,
nice.
Me and Harry basically went to the US, and then sort of 18ish, whatever. The usual, pack a bag for 3 months, and away you go. And then
amazing.
Did you know people out there because of the deluxe thing, or was it just the Toy Machine thing with Harry? Or
I mean, honestly, on my side, I didn't really know anyone. Do you know what I mean? I knew.
It's a big step to make.
I knew a couple of people out there who were, I guess, working in distributors and stuff like that. But Harry, this was around the time of Radlands and the comp with all the guys over. So Harry Barley quite well, and then we went and stayed with him, and then travelled around from there basically. So actually, we didn't end up going. Sorry, it was actually into LA. SF, sorry.
Yeah.
So we went into LA, and then we went and stayed with him, and then and then couch surfed it around for 3 months basically. And
this was when Barley had come down to Los Angeles from Philadelphia, because he was based in Philly, wasn't he? And then
so Barley was in LA at that time, so he was already after. I mean, I guess Eastern Exposure, had come out just prior to that, and he's an incredible skateboarder. He is.
It's the Don.
Style, power, tricks, the lot. And a very nice dude. You know what I mean? But we went to stay with him, and then he was like our first stop kind of thing, and then we moved around. But it was the days of where you were over and you had a pager, and that was it.
Sick. And that's the only way of getting connected with people, through the pager.
Amazing.
Getting paged by Donny Barley must be
what ball age pages were.
Not me. That would have been Harry. Do you know what I mean? But,
What was
No,
it like
we-
skating? What was it like skating with him? Sorry, I'm just going to geek out for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Oh, it was rad. It was. I mean, it was really rad. Do you know what I mean? Like we go on, yeah, rad sort of street skating sessions, and then. I mean, there's I don't know, there's stories I've covered before with it and stuff. But for me, like 18-year-old geeky like grommet skateboarder out in America, like 18. Woo, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're staying at
Amazing.
Barley's house, and then Barley's got some stuff going on and that. So he's like, "Can you go and stay at Eric's house?" And we're like, "Yeah, cool." I mean, so we go and stay at Eric's, and then Eric's not there, so we're just like chilling out, waiting for him to get back with his housemate. And then through the door walks basically Eric Dressen. Do you know what I mean?
Oh my god,
Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Jesus!
that's like literally like, hi. Like,
Stay cool, stay cool.
yeah, exactly. Stay cool. And then you know, it's probably like me and Harry living on like a pack of ramen or something like that. Do you know what I mean? And then
Nice.
like yeah, and then Eric's, you know, if you want to go and skate, anyone want to go and skate? This is like 11. And you're like,
Ah.
yes, please.
Holy shit!
So we went and yeah, sessioned around some of the spots around LA with just him cruising around, which was.
Wow.
And then there was lots of other people as well, but you know, that's a very fond memory that sticks in my
Nice.
head.
I bet that is a keen one, definitely. So yeah, you stayed out there for like a few months.
Yeah, so 3 months we're out there basically, and
Wow.
we traveled. It was only on the West Coast, so I think we went LA, San Diego, back to LA, over to SF, then San Jose. Oh, sorry, then San Francisco, then San Jose, because we were out there then. And that's when I can't remember the bloody company. Can't remember the company you rode for.
Who was that? Sorry, I missed that.
It was Manzori. So
Oh,
there was,
okay.
like,
Adrenaline?
Kip Sumter and all that.
Adrenaline?
Yes, yeah, it was. Yeah, Adrenaline. There was Kip Sumter and Jay Bondroff and all those guys.
Yeah, Jay, that was amazing. Sorry, nerded out.
So that was rad. And actually, yeah, on the music kind of side of things. So me and Manzori we're at his, and he's a massive music nerd
Yeah.
as well. And I think at that time, none of us knew. Oh, sorry, I'd found out like a year or so before what the Gons music was. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
The John Coltrane.
The
track.
John Coltrane track. Yeah.
And then I finally found this out, do you know what I mean? And I think I had it on order with like Virgin Records. So, do you know what I mean? Like, no chance.
Amazing.
And then me and Mike skated down to this local record shop in San Jose, and they had basically a copy on CD and a copy on vinyl.
Wow.
I'm more of a vinyl nerd, but I'm like, how the fuck am I going to transport this around for 3 months? Do you know what I mean?
In bits, was it?
But we got it, and then we skated back like proper nerds, do you know what I mean? And then got back and blazing and listening to the jazz tracks. And
Yes.
No.
Amazing.
but,
Amazing.
yeah, so we just did that, and then I think we were staying with like well, it would have been with Molly and that's when it was all, they had all the Piss Drunk's house and stuff, so it was Molly,
Wow.
Reynolds and Greco, and got all of them, you know.
Oh, it's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy how it all links together. Like, you just think, what's such a small world, isn't it, really? Like, you were all over there for a part of that. So you came back to here, and that's when Unabomber started. Yeah?
Yeah. So actually, when we were in the US about the last month ago, we got a page from Helicar to ask if we could.
Page.
So we rang him back, and he was basically saying, you know, we want to start this company. Do you know what I mean? Like, are you up for it? Do you want to ride for it and stuff? Because, you know, at that time, like, Harry was, you know, near on being like offered something with Toy Machines. You know what I mean?
Oh, he was killing it at the time, though, wasn't he?
Yeah.
As well?
And I'd had a couple of sniffs on things.
A couple of sniffs.
But you know, we phoned him, and it was just like, yeah, fucking hell, we're so down. Do you know what I mean? It was like
That's rad. That's rad.
And I've talked about it before. I think there was the going to the States and seeing people like, you know, some of your heroes and skateboarding, but for me, it didn't feel right. It just didn't feel right. Do you know what I mean? Like I didn't feel like, I'm not going to say home, do you know what I mean? But it just, I don't know. It
Not comfortable with.
wasn't right.
that. Yeah.
Did you feel like you didn't belong there, or is it?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it was quite an alien scene, you know. I
Mm.
mean, again, you know, there wasn't mobile phones with constant access to everything. It was like you generally had a few skate videos that you could watch. You get the odd magazines, Thrashers or Transworlds, Skateboarder, and then you had the UK mags. You'd have people travel occasionally over touring and stuff. But yeah, like out there is kind of, it's like everything was on steroids. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, jacked up.
Which I don't know, for 18-year-old Alan just didn't felt right. Do you know what I mean? So, whereas
He missed home.
felt really right. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, my choice was made from that page. Do you know what I mean?
So you came back in 90. What was the date? 97. Did it start?
Yeah, 97. So yeah, it would have been pretty much almost when we got back. Do you know what I mean? Like a few months that Bomber started. Yeah.
And what was the plan with it from the beginning? Was it just to kind of see what happens, or?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like Helicar and Robinson, and I guess like they had probably the master plan, but I think they were just, at the time there was a lot of people riding for companies, especially in kind of Europe. That, like, if I'm honest, I don't think we're really getting the kind of right recognition. Do you know what I mean? They were, and like, I wouldn't say like you don't have to be paid. Do you know what I mean? But people were really struggling, and they were like, I mean, they were good skateboarders, and they were traveling all over the place, and it's not kind of like now. Do you know what I mean? It's very, do you know what I mean? But it was tough. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people would be, effectively unemployed, and they're kind of, getting government subsidies, and then they're like this kind of almost like pro status skateboarder. Do you know what I mean? And they're fighting to try and get like 2 boards a month or like
it's a weird environment to be in, isn't it?
It's a weird thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think, I think the idea with like Bomber and how it started and how we tried to approach it was to really try and change in the best way we could, change it for like the future. Do you know what I mean? Because there was more, it just felt right. Skateboarding is worldwide. It's like, there's good people everywhere. It doesn't matter where you're from.
Where you're from.
Skateboarder, I mean, and I think like Flip is like a prime example of that.
Yeah.
That those guys went over, they can, they're almost laughed out of the country, and then within 6 months they just kind of went,
took over, didn't they?
Yeah, like, this is how we skateboarded, and
killing it, yeah,
exactly.
And like, do one, and some of the best skateboarders there are in the world. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. I think there was a big change happening anyway, and I think the same thing with Blueprint was around as well. Do you know what I mean? And Bomber, and there was a series of like European board brands, Cliche, etc. And I think everyone maybe didn't realize what they were doing, but I think everybody was trying to strive towards like making it better for.
There was a wave of change, wasn't there?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
There was a real wave of change, I think. And I think for me, and I don't know about you guys, but Unabomber just signified something different, something kind of there was a rebellious element to it. It was just like you said, we're going to do our thing, our way. And even just the kind of how anti the name of it is. I mean, that's quite a brave name, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Next time you go into the US, so what are you doing? I'm here to ride a skateboard. Okay, what do you do? I ride for Unabomber skateboard.
Exactly. You are going straight home. Do you know what I mean?
But I think I think of like the guys who are riding for it. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm just a skateboarder. Do you know what I mean? Like we're all the same. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I look at the other guys and like Harry and all, Channer and Vaughan and Frank and.
Was Frank on it from the start as well?
Good question.
Trying to get a timeline in my head, because I remember going to where Unabomber was situated in some sort of old shoe factory or something like that.
Oh my god!
Oh no! But the first Bomber was started. It was Spitfield Meat Market. There was there was. So downstairs would be the butchers, and then we had this set of ladders that you could climb up, and it was like this tiny little space that basically had a desk and a telephone, and then we had a few boards and stuff, and we'd go down to London, and we'd all just, sleep in the sleeping bags in there, and just,
Oh wow! So it was a proper just a little office space where everyone basically slept probably at night. So it's got that real like homegrown DIY sort of vibe then.
I sort of remember a place with a little mini ramp or something. Was there not another one with a tiny little...
That was later, yeah.
That was it, right?
God, I can't remember the distribution that used to do that. They used to... That was it. The Esprit de Creep, and it was on...
Yeah, that was it, Carl. Yeah, Duff's, yeah. Because I went there with Shannon, and then Pete was there with Unabomber stuff as well.
Yeah, I remember going into that, and it was like this amazing mini ramp. Do you know what I mean? And because that was when the guy from the Spree was investing more money into Bomber. Do you know what I mean? And kind of trying to move it along for.
Right. Okay, that makes sense now. Timeline wise.
And yeah, Duff's was there as well. And I remember going in. There was like a mini ramp and then a huge coffee table on the other side with like the biggest bowl of weed and like. It was like, wow, this is like, it was in Farringdon, do you know what I mean? So, I mean, you could basically just get paid, skate the mini ramp, and then you could just go and skate the city at like 1 a.m. onwards, do you know what I mean?
That sounds ideal.
Better than stand next to the butchers at Spitalfields.
Yeah, the butcher's one was pretty grim. But that's where, you know, Sylvester, there's this, I think it's in Head, it might be in Head Cleaner actually, or might be the other one. Sylvester's ollieing out of a gap and it's like down, it's like floor of like shitty little house. That's the Bomber.
Oh, is it? Shit.
Is it? He just ollies out of it.
Yeah.
I can totally visualise that.
I can visualise Paul doing stuff like that. Just like, I'll just ollie out of something, out of a room into another floor.
Out of a room.
Yeah. He is like a stuntman, that guy, though, isn't he? He just like anything that's ridiculous. You see him, you think no one's going to do this, and you turn around and Paul's just heading towards it like a million miles an hour. It's like,
lunatic.
Switch as well.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't be like he's heading to it normally. It'd be like he's going switch. You're like, what the man?
Yeah. Stop.
Lunatic.
So the company starts. They start producing boards. I remember the first graphics. I think they had like a gradient on and stuff like that. There was loads. When was it decided that you were going to have a pro model, or you would turn professional in those terms?
It was that call in the
really, it was straight away.
Yeah. So he said,
amazing.
the company, we want you and Harry to have the first boards.
Brilliant.
Away we go. And then Harry's was a graphic, like I think it was a friend of his who was in prison at the time who drew that one, which was the grey one with the kind of face and the
the guy in prison.
Guy. And then mine was like a friend of mine, like Jay, who did this kind of manga-esque type graphic, the blue. But
is that the girl inside like a cryogenic kind of that one? Yeah.
That one.
She's in like all wires off her and stuff like that, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think I was probably in like an Akira phase or something like that. Yeah. I mean, like
stay in that phase, mate. Don't come out of that phase.
I always like, so with that board. It was literally, I had one of my favourite skateboards ever was the Julian Stranger Anti-Hero, and it was blue all the way around, and it had a pirate ship on the bottom, sorry. And it was like the most perfect shape. I'm not nerdy about like shapes, but I probably should have been. Do you know what I mean? In terms of all that sort of stuff. But that board was like, I handed that over and said, that's what I want. That board, exactly the same. Do you know what I mean? And then I think at the time we were getting either Chapman or I think it was Chapman, and they were doing the brands and stuff from the East Coast. So that was nice. So we were like doing stuff with East Coast as well. I
remember Harry's board being monstrous. Like at the time, it was huge, and I remember seeing it in a shop, just thinking, "This is like a door. This is so big."
He's got some big plates on him. Do you know what I mean? So,
but that's the thing. He's a big. How tall is he? He's a big guy.
No, he had no arches. That was it. He didn't have
flat feet.
Yeah. So, but
how tall was he?
A tall lad. Big unit. Don't know.
But that's the thing. I used to think he was massive, and I'm quite tall. But then I used to see video footage of him and think, this dude is ginormous. He's huge.
Seeing him nollie the fence in the Broadmarsh bus station is probably one of the most amazing.
Just so burly. All the shit he did was just so burly. It's just like savage. We started with those boards, I think, and then I think everyone who was on there kind of got their boards as well. But I think hopefully I haven't got that wrong and forgotten that everybody had a board at the same time. How did the GIMP graphic start? Because that was that Pete Fowler who did that.
Yeah, so actually, thinking about it, with the whole thing with Bomber and what Helic to do, and Johnny Robbo, was that they wanted to always make sure that any boards that came out were always by artists. There was always an artist or an artist series, do you know what I mean? So it was always like trying to use people who were either in the scene or kind of up and coming, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So me and Harry's were done kind of that way, and then the Bomber, the ones you're on about are like the ones Pete Fowler did, which were, it was a whole series of different ones, like time bomb ones and like I think there was a rat one and all sorts. Do you know what I mean? It was like a really good kind of series, and the CCTV ones and everything. But, so we did those, and then when we released like a blank board, do you know what I mean? We didn't want it to be a blank, so it wanted to be like a DIY board. So it's like stencil and all this sort of stuff. And then really funny because like after that, other companies started doing.
Yeah, I remember that.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, and it's like, you know, it was nice. I mean, it was nice to see that, like, yeah, that's how it should be. It shouldn't be just like, here's a load of blank boards. Do you know what I mean? You know? But it was always about taking artists like, you know, there's that, and then obviously Adam Neat as well.
He did loads of stuff as well.
So, yeah.
That's right. I remember that the GIMP head graphic, and I can't remember where I was, but there was some demo or something, and someone had a big stack of all the stickers, and they were all different colours. And I remember they threw them out, and I got a few or whatever. And then this is super nerdy. But then I could see this kid with like a really cool colorway, and I was just obsessed with it. I was like, I need to get that sticker. You know, it's just weird like that.
I've got one gold one in the drawer.
Wow.
The big one, the big.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
So the
logo in the end, though, wasn't it? That was more of a logo than a graphic, wasn't it? In the end, I remember when I think of Unibomber, I just think of that graphic. Was that like the logo after a while?
No, well, there was So there was, I think there was 3 logos. There was the Unibomber script, and then the GIMP mask, and then there was another thing which was the he, she, they.
Yeah.
Right.
And they were the 3, I would say. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
remember the wings. The wings were the hands.
Oh, so yeah, of course, yeah. Most people know it for the wings, but it shouldn't really be the script. I would say it's probably the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that crazy scripty one. Who did that? Do you know who did that, or
no?
Just someone who scribbled it.
No idea. I probably knew it in '97.
So the company started. You've got a pro board, and the first thing these guys put out is the Unipromo in '98. Now that's where we've got a bit of a connection because Dave Underwood edited it, didn't he, Adam? Is that how it?
Yeah.
Do you know any of the story about how that happened, or?
Frank. I guess it was Frank sort of. Likes getting things sorted out, getting things together, and I imagine he probably was the driving force, wasn't he, behind getting that done?
I think so, definitely. I think like Frank was a workhorse, wasn't he?
Had the most footage, probably was ready to get it out there.
He wanted the part
ASAP.
out. He wanted the part out. That's what it was.
Everyone had to catch up.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think most of mine's filmed like almost in a few weeks. I think, to the man as well. Like it was, whereas Frank had racked up.
I'm going to share it whilst we're talking, because then you can kind of see it as well.
Do you remember a deadline for that? Then was it the fact that Frank was like, "I've got a shitload of footage. We should get this moving," or were you just gradually getting somewhere?
I'm going to be. Can I be bad? I need to go to the toilet.
Yeah, you can
think about that answer.
That's fine. Yeah. We don't need you. It's not about you at all.
We'll just talk about you. So our guest is now leaving.
This has never happened before.
That's fine.
This is unprecedented, Alan. You said it.
Oh shit! Sorry.
This will be the extras.
That's all right.
I was worried that question was too pressing. I could see that was pushing
pushed
on
his bladder too hard.
Yeah.
Has everyone? Sam, have you seen this part?
I don't think I have. I've seen one of these videos. It's either this or Headclean that I've seen, but that text did ring a bell. Seeing
there's fireworks behind, isn't it?
Yeah. I'll show you. We'll have a look at that, and then we'll look at Alan's spot when he offers to get back.
I've definitely seen one of these videos.
But this is.
Well, Junior, I had Head Cleaner, and I don't think I had this. So maybe.
I reckon I've seen Head Cleaner.
Do you remember we had this bit at the beginning?
I've seen. Yeah.
But I remember being blown away by that, like the firework behind it. Did Dave do it in the garden, didn't he, or something?
I don't know about that, actually.
I'm sure there's a story where Frank and him like worked it out in the garden or something like that. I'm sure Dave remember telling me that story.
Dave was quite ahead of his time, wasn't he, with the old kids?
All green screen happens in Dave's house.
Exactly.
Big lump of beef, fireworks.
Big lump of beef.
Adam, do you remember this video coming out and it was like a white case, wasn't it? It had the sticker on it, didn't it? The kind of mask graphic. There's that Harry 50/50 that Shannon was talking about. Wasn't
maybe I did have this then. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I had both, but I definitely had Head Cleaner.
Carl, do you remember this video?
A little bit, yeah. I think I've only watched it a couple of times, but
Sorry, I love the opening credits of that. Sorry.
It's fine.
Look, there's Alan.
We'll
There,
edit
he
it
just
out.
comes back in perfectly. So we were just talking about the. I mean, this is hard. Scrolling through Man's part, we should watch it. Really.
No, isn't this where Sylvester does the switch double kink as well?
Yeah. No, is this? Oh, well, on the white rail. The white rail.
Yeah, I think so. In this section, yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely seen this.
Let's just get it there.
Maybe, Junior, you had this one and I had head cleaner then. Cause I've definitely seen this. Yeah.
This is Unipromo.
It's the first one.
We'll try to figure out which one we had.
Shit, there's footage of you earlier then.
You have to have sound, or
no, I can't. The sound won't play. It'll play really garbled if we play it. So, which is a shame. Because that music, what was that music? We were talking about that earlier as well.
I think it's is it Specials or something like that, isn't it? I think.
No, this is the one with that Soulfly tune on.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I was on about Sylvester. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Oh, where's that?
Not Derby.
Derby. Here we
Derby.
go. Here we go.
Yeah,
so this is the first part you put out as a pro, then, is it?
Yeah, I've seen this.
Yeah.
We put this bit up on the Instagram, and Helicop put sweaty as the response to it.
It's accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty normal. Me sweating and then.
Where's this, Alan?
That's
so
Joel.
gnarly.
Wow,
That's so
look at that.
gnarly, that is.
Mad.
I love that. And you can in the footage you can hear it's shot for a sequence. What was the sequence in?
I think Wig was doing it.
Wow.
Well, I guess in Sidewalk, or it might have been System magazine. That was before Sidewalk. Before Sidewalk started.
Yeah.
Do you know what year this footage is in? Because you've got the green cords again.
They're still going.
They're still going. You're running them cords for
Yeah, but
that's
they're faded.
5 years. That's 5 years of those cords.
They've gone down 3 shades
Well,
though.
this is going to be, because it's Unipromo, it's going to be around, it's going to be 97.
Wow. Those cords have done you well, really, haven't they?
Yeah, actually, because just back there,
He's got them on.
there was a sticker on the board, session sticker.
Yeah.
I had that when I came from the US, so I'm not even riding a bomber board there.
That's a toy machine board, I thought, or
Yeah.
a foundation board or something.
Yeah.
Again, super nerdy, sorry. Or
Fine,
maybe
we'll let you off.
let's go super nerdy. We'll find out what that board is. Hold on. Let's go to the one focus.
Could have brought it from the indie.
Actually, I don't think it is a toy machine board. I'm spoken to.
It's an adrenaline board, actually.
Yes, I know
What
it.
it is. The Chris Sen.
Do you remember exactly then?
Yeah.
Oh,
And I weirdly I know because of the session sticker.
sick.
Nice.
Sick. That's what I was saying about flowing. It just always is flowing, isn't there? It's just like, Carl, this is your territory. You should know this.
yeah,
Bristol.
no favourite spot. That was definitely good. They changed it a few years back, and it's ruined basically. But like,
Well, that's what there.
Or
That little handrail was gone.
I haven't been informed, or is it like better than?
no, they redone it and they put a really bad surface, and the rails aren't there. It's basically.
Yeah.
But
How
that
good is
was-
it?
Because Nottingham, like years back, when they tried to ruin the market square, they kind of changed it and they put this like higher plant pots in and all this sort of stuff, but it just made everyone skate better.
They're gutted.
That rail
And then
was
the
so
bench-
small, wasn't it? Like weird.
The benches they had this they had these little stoppers on, and they were Allen key size, so you could just use your skate Allen key. And do it.
Oh wow.
It was these here, so this is one of the plant pots.
Ah, nice. Okay.
So, Alan, let's talk through this. There's an anatomy here to talk through. Okay. This line alone, I'll put this up on the Instagram. But it's a rad line. This is rad. But let's talk about firstly the shirt. Yeah. Where's the shirt from?
The shirt is actually a hand-me-down from a friend of mine. It's a Paul Smith shirt, and I still got it.
You love
I'm
shirts.
feeling
don't
that
you?
shirt.
Yeah, I
Feeling that
still got
shirt.
that shirt. Yeah, but Paul Smith's like from in Nottingham. Do you know what I mean? So a lot of friends work at there as well. Do you know what I mean?
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's like Paul Smith shirt,
Nice.
and I reckon they're Duffs, or they look like Casey. Was it Casey K?
No, they're like a mid top.
No, he was Action, wasn't he? Sorry. No, I think they're like a Duff's mid top, probably. Yeah.
Wow. So we've got Paul Smith shirt. Are they camo cargo like shorts?
Just like
Not chords. What?
not
No, the
camo.
green chords have gone.
Not
Yeah.
counted, like
Traded them in.
army green-ish.
Who are the people in the background? Is this your?
No,
They've
it-
got a flag on.
Yeah, exactly. You got a fag on in it as well. That's what I was
Yeah.
saying. This line is crazy. Smoking, just casually. I'll just
Oh,
hop
this
over
this
there.
bit here. Oh, is it? God, so good. Market Square. Oh, what a
So
spot.
It
gnarly,
looks
like,
amazing,
so-
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so
an
many
amazing place.
places.
I've been there a couple of times. It's
Is it really smooth?
bloody good.
It was, yeah, it was at that time, and then all the blocks and everything as well. Like this is one of the planters they put in, but this is one of the free standers, and they put these on top of the blocks. So then I think within like the first day, Harry just came on, just ollied up and just did a frontside grind on the top of them all. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Shit.
cool. You know what I mean? And then the steps at the back there, like, and we've had loads of rad sessions. Or yeah, this is oh sorry.
That's what I was just. But
The iconic
so
place.
yeah, this is a spot you skated a lot though, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, it's changed now massively. But the steps at the background there, I mean, like Oyola came to visit, and it was rad. He was bombing along and just ollieing up them, and just like
It's got
I
a
was about to
city.
say it's got a Love Park
yeah.
feel to it, you know.
Like
the
City
atmosphere.
Hall kind of feel. It's got a real Philly kind of like look. Maybe it's that big building in the background as well that adds to it. But
he loved it. And this period of time was like where you could skate a city centre on a Sunday with no hassle whatsoever. You know, it's like, I mean, look at the bench. It's pretty much all just like
all
everywhere.
skaters.
Is like, and the scene was rad. You know what I mean? Like Weatherall, Brad, Craig, Smedley, you know, Helicar, Harry, like
So many people, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of
Very
heads,
good.
isn't it? A lot of heads. So you're running a cigarette here again. You're a danger to yourself, mate.
There's my smoking Dandra Hobble phase, I guess.
Exactly. There's definitely a Drehobel vibe going on in this period. Definitely.
Did you know, Carl, do you recognise the mini ramp? Because that's Bristol as well.
Is that?
Yeah, it's,
Oh.
I'm going to say like Kingswood or Kings something.
Oh,
Kings.
is it?
It's like it's full graffiti all around, and this was like on the second floor in a youth club, and then it's like
Oh,
thing. And I skated when I kind of moved to Bristol and skating with Danny and I guess with you and all like Sid and Hacker and all the guys. Do you know what I mean?
what is that on top of it though? What is that cage thing?
That was the cage over the radiator and the fire extinguisher. On the top.
So it now becomes obstacle.
Yeah.
Oh, and these poly banks, amazing.
Look at them. They're ridiculous.
Yeah,
Where
they
is
look-
that? Is it Nottingham? Yeah.
Looks so good.
Poly
Like-
banks and knots. I think they're probably still there. I don't know, maybe. But look at
Like,
these.
who designs that? Like, surely these are ex-skateboarders that design these
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Like, just go, yeah, let's give the
Architecturally, it's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
And that's the same kind of spot.
where's
Obviously.
that? Where's that
Where-
spot there then? Sorry.
Birdcage. There we go.
After this one, where's that spot?
That one.
No, after this one.
This one. Okay. So this is the Polytechnic, and then this is still the Polytechnic.
Oh right.
Still Nottingham City Centre. Like, they're-
They're still
Don't know where that
that's
one
what
is.
was
Never seen that
next
spot
to
before.
That bank.
This spot I don't recognise.
No, it's not in any videos, is it?
No coverage. I'm there. I'm actually here this day.
Yeah,
Here you are.
Yeah. There's or maybe not this day because you had a wind cheater on actually, like a windbreaker. Like maybe it is the same day. I don't know. But,
Me, it's got a hoodie.
Maybe you took it off.
no, that's what I mean. Yeah, you might have took it off. I don't know. So, I'm nerding out about outfits, so I get crazy about it.
This next bit is after this actually, or it comes up. This is Bristol as well. I loved this session. Like, I loved it. This is like
Oh yeah.
Look at that spot. What the
Yeah.
hell?
that's
Where's
flowing.
that? Where is that?
flowing.
That White Ladies Road.
What
Yeah.
the tree house?
That
Jesus.
Where, Carl? Where is it? Where is it?
Do you know White Ladies Road in Bristol?
No, I don't. No.
Boy Hill.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping you can tell me
No,
all about it.
That was on the news the other day.
It was on the news about
Yeah.
to say that, yeah.
Yeah, it's up Clifton Way. But,
Is
yeah,
it still there, the school, as it is there?
I think so. Yeah,
Skatable.
I think.
I mean, it's probably that thing that like all the locals knew about it already, but we'd just got to Bristol, and I think Danny was living in Clifton anyway as well, and we were up that way. I mean, like, yeah, sort of stumbled across the spot, and you know, it's like, oh, it's beautiful. Look at it, Oh, what a spot!
Yeah, that's cool.
I love
fucking, what's that fucking tree house there?
I know, yeah, it's crazy. But the nose bonk, and then I'll just kick the cone over. I like the way that's included in the edit as well. Like most people would cut off after the nose bonk. It's like, no, let's have the cone kick as well.
Let's get my Harry in there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome.
You've heard
That
though.
treehouse is awesome, isn't it?
You're such a vandal. God.
Where's that? Where's that, Alan?
That's opposite the, you know, the spot that was before the block,
Shit.
and then you got in Bristol the bank kind of hit. You'd know it, Carl, when you.
Near Little Lloyd's, between Little Lloyd's and the Norwich Union Banks.
So where that grind was a minute ago.
Yeah, I'm coming to it, don't I?
It's the hill down. The hill on the way down.
So it's on the way to Little Lloyd's.
Somewhere in Bristol.
And Little Lloyd's is to the left.
Oh, okay, cool.
The banks are over.
That is so high, though, isn't it?
Big Lloyd's.
Look at him getting down. Look at him getting down. That is so much a high ledge, though.
Yeah, someone's underneath you as you come out.
Yeah, it's so fucking high. Look, that guy, it's so high, that guy, as he's crouched down, it's underneath the
Small
ledge.
person. That guy's at least, he's about 6 foot tall, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's boost that ledge up higher.
Yeah.
And they've got spiked fences on those ledges now, so you can't.
Yeah.
It's still there, but they've got spiked fences on. So.
Alan claimed it, don't worry.
Got in there quick.
So we're hitting big Lloyds here with some pop shoves.
That's
for
a sick
this.
pop shove it, yeah.
That is really rad. You had them down, and we probably still got them down.
That's the thing I always remember about Alan is this pop shoves, half cabs, and full cab. That's the good
best full
unlock.
cab.
Yeah,
Absolute best full cab.
yeah. Must have been head cleaner.
Yeah, head cleaner. There's some amazing full cabs.
Yeah.
Oof.
Lloyd sessions are incredible, and they probably still are. Do you know what I mean? That's one of the things I heavily miss in my not so many not skating as much these days. Do you know what I mean? And
It's a big Lloyd's is big though, isn't it? Like, Carl, have you ollied down them and done stuff down them or?
Ollie, I think that's about it. But
Yeah, I think I went there and just was like, nope, and just sat back down again. It's a big set of stairs, isn't it?
a lot of good stuff being done down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not worth trying, is it? Like
I think if I'm right, like the half cab. I did the half cab and then Vaughan did 360 flip straight after.
Oh, nice.
Sick, back to back.
Oh, isn't that?
Yeah, we're having one of those, and then I don't know, maybe it was like Anna backside heel flipped it because Chad could backside heel flip anything.
Yeah, lesser seen backside heel flip. Channa could just do them well.
The best backside heel flips and
Backside
I mean, like,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was Bristol sessions were rad. I mean, that was
There's that one they did down South Bank. I think it must be in a blueprint video, and he clears it by 10 people or something. That backside flip channel.
Well,
it's just
sick,
insane, isn't it?
So this is Broadmarsh in Nottingham, yeah.
Oh, glorious place!
It's a glorious place.
Same outfits. That's the same day as the other line.
It was, yeah.
This is Bristol, yeah.
Yeah. That's I can't remember.
That's a power slide and a half.
That's good, yeah.
by Castle Park, just down from Little Lloyd's the other way.
Yeah.
Sick. So there he is. There it is.
Nice.
But that, going back to that Broadmarsh thing, let's see if we can get back there. That's a love affair that's lasted a few years, isn't it?
Oh,
That's
yes,
a difficult place to skate. I've been there once. It wasn't as what I was thinking it was like. The floor. The floor is not quite.
Didn't you go there on some
dreamy as it looks,
tour you did, Adam? Like, you just got in the car and just slept in the car. Didn't you go there?
The Vauxhall Nova tour with Fish.
Vauxhall Nova.
That's amazing. And you just,
we had a mini metro tour to Cornwall once.
Wow. That's even smaller.
That is a choice. That is a choice, isn't it?
Yeah. Joined the AA on the way as well. Just and then we broke down, so we got them to take us to Cornwall. And then
Nice.
Yeah.
Classic.
So we were talking about Broadmarsh there. That's a Nottingham spot. That's like a classic spot. Do you know any of the history of why that was built? Because it's such a random thing, isn't it? They were almost transitioned, those banks, aren't they?
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, yeah, I know a fair bit about the Porty banks, but
Okay. Let's have the history.
I ever like, oh yeah,
Almost share it.
Broadmarsh banks.
Look at that.
Like people would talk about these mounds and these molds and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And then like, so this was coming from like Beeston and sort of then to Chilwell, and then it was like get a bus into town and you'd skate the bus station, and then you had the Broadmarsh Banks. This is like one little section of it. But the thing that was rad with Broady, I mean, for a start, it was actually built because it's hiding the pipes that heated the shopping centre inside.
Okay.
So that's why it was like built as it was. It was never intentional at all. Do you know what I mean? It was just purely for that. And
why are there big mounds there though? What is it covering? Pipe work?
Yeah. So there was a lot of pipe work underneath the Broadmarsh Centre, and they wanted to hide it. So they basically, a lot of it was covered over. So often in winter, it would be one of the driest spots you could skate.
Oh, because it would be warm as well.
Yeah, because the heating.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So it was rad. But funny things with Broady Banks is that like that picture you just had up there in a second ago is like you roll into that. Like I know, and I think this may what you turn out is like with Broadmarsh Banks, you have to go faster. Do you know what I mean? Like you basically have to go, I don't know, double the speed you would normally go, because by the time you actually hit the bank, you'll be you need to go. You know what I mean? So that always threw people off. But then also with Broady Banks, it was one of those spots where if you hit it at certain points, it would send you. Do you know what I mean? You were going. Do you know what I mean?
It'd whip you up. Would it whip you up in the air?
Or you like if you didn't hit the right brick or the line of the brick, then it's a nothing. It's just like a dead sailor. You just float on by like with nothing.
A dead sailor. That is a good term. I haven't heard that one. That's nice.
But even better was when you used to hack up along. There was always those like paving slabs. There was one called the Broady Biscuit, and there was this like and you hacked towards it. And as you got to it, and you saw so many people who had never skated Broady, and they would hit it, and it's like it's unrecognisable. It's flat. But then as you approach, the vibrations would send her up.
Send her up.
Like a trap almost to catch out. Well, it sounds like a trap that catches people from out of town. Like if you're a local, you knew it, avoided the biscuit. If you were alien coming in,
no one circled it or anything. I mean, there was no like warning of it. It was just locals knew the Broady Biscuit.
I don't think I've ever known a slab to be named. That's the first time.
I was lucky to miss the Broady Biscuit.
That's Indiana Jones shit, that, isn't it? Like the paving slab going down and up. Like, that's amazing.
And I'm trying to think what else they did. They then like they changed kind of like some of the shaping. Put bars up and stuff like that. Like you could ride in sort of at different spots then at that sort of point. But the one where I think there's the Indy nose bone over the hip thing.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a spine ramp kind of style one and stuff. And you used to have to hack at that from the bus station. Do you know what I mean? Like, so when you're like, I mean, at the time there was no like real, we didn't know about getting people to sit and spot and all that sort of stuff. It's literally tank like an absolute lunatic towards this fucking like hip. And then again, if you hit the wrong brick, you just fucking nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, or you right brick, it would just boom and throw you out. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's kind of, I guess you had to be it's one of those local spots. Do you know what I mean? Like you have to kind of
exactly
and understand it and know how it works and stuff. And I remember it was actually, I think Oyola, when he came over and he was skating it, and he'd seen pictures of like the spot and he was like stoked on it. And he was nightmare with it. Do you know what I mean? He was like, how the fuck do you skate this? And it was, and simply it was like, you have to go faster. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and Oyola is a rad skater.
Exactly, like, telling Oyola to go faster. Yeah, exactly.
I'm telling you, you have to go faster, mate. Fastest, mate. And then it's fucking Ricky Oyola. Do you know what I mean? Like,
surely he's going Mach 10 at everything anyway.
Yeah, but the biscuit sucked him up, didn't it?
The biscuit fucked him right up.
But it's so funny, honestly, the run-ups up to that, like to get to do any of that stuff, would just, you almost start like half a mile away.
Jesus. It doesn't look like that on video or in photos, does it? It doesn't. And I think that's
tight.
It looks like you wouldn't have to go that fast and it would whip you up. But I think that is the testament to those type of British spots. Like you said, people who've seen it on photos or in videos, they're like, yeah, that looks rad, I'll go and skate that. And you get there and you're just like, oh my God, this is so hard to skate.
Yeah. There's so many lines there, because I mean, that's only a snippet of like how it looked. There was all like these bold corners and all sorts of that sort of stuff. Like massive bank with like a tombstone thing on top of it as well. But yeah, I remember, I mean, obviously skating there for years and years, and then when it started to get taken down, Horsley messaged me and said, "Do you want a brick?" And it was like, "Damn right." So I've got one
Wow.
put away.
Nice.
Is it all gone completely now?
It has all gone completely now. And then the really, really fucking annoying thing, because it's like, it's not even part of the, like the tram thing goes across it sort of thing.
Right.
And it's gone. And I think the architect or the Broadmarsh Centre are like later on, they've basically found out that they didn't actually realise that, you know, you could, like if you wanted to like skate it or not. Do you know what I mean? They didn't realise the importance of it. Do you know what I mean? So they just flattened it, and like, they're like, well, we didn't know.
Oh, shit.
Oh, God. Annoying.
Whereas it could have still been there. Do you know what I mean?
Is this part of it as well? Sorry, I've just shared something else there.
No, this is some banks in I think it's Eastwood, so another obscure little village outside of Nottingham. I think it's like a mining town and stuff.
Oh,
Okay.
You know, like you know, in the US, I should remember the frigging banks, but you know those really whippy banks, the
Jason Lee skates in
yeah.
LA they are.
Grey ones and stuff. Kind of the same. It's like that. Are these whippy banks, and they're like hexagonal sort of shaped.
Yeah.
Got a hell of a crowd there for it.
Yeah, who's that? What is that all about?
I have no idea.
There's like a whole crew of people in the
so many
background, like
people.
school kids or something like that.
Yeah. I can't remember that. This is a lean tail over over the corner.
Yeah.
I like the bottom bit. Adam Rushbrooke Pro.
Is
Is that the first ad you had as well?
Yeah.
Sick.
Well, I don't know. It was the first one. Maybe it was.
Wow, sick. Though, isn't it?
Background a choir. Let's say they're a choir.
Choir. Singing you along.
Singing his praises.
Brings his personal choir to the spot.
Yeah.
Amazing. So over your time in your career, did you ever have a favourite kind of photo? Because obviously you shot quite a few photos, especially at Broadmarsh as well. Is there any one that really stands out? You're going to say one I don't have now, I bet as well. Or any photo, anything. Is there something that kind of you fondly remember?
I don't like calling it a career. I think it's a laugh.
Okay, sorry.
Your
For
time
me,
in
it's
skateboarding.
quite a career. Yeah.
I got lucky. You know, I don't know. I mean, I was always stoked getting coverage and stuff. I think, if there's, I can think probably one photo I really liked that I was you know, proud of.
Yeah. Well, it's good. You should feel proud of it. You've achieved loads, mate.
Actually, it's a couple, because I mean, I think I got a couple. Well, I had a couple of covers with Sidewalk. Do you know what I mean? Which, you know, I think there's only, you know, when people talk about covers, it's like, you know, well, not people talk about covers, but like there's only a few that have had two. Do you know what I mean? Like with Sidewalk and stuff, and then so that felt amazing to have.
So you had the Meanwhile one and the Backside 5-0, yeah?
I always remember the 5-0 one.
The 5-0 one is just so iconic, that one.
Have you got that picture?
I came back.
I haven't got it here. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
No worries.
just come back from the US at that time, and I think it was the US on the second trip, and that's when Playing Fields was, I think.
Yeah.
Because that was edited in our other house in Nottingham with
Oh, really?
friends, yeah. And my wife Michelle was finishing her degree at law degree.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
So it's like, yeah, that film was finished on an ironing board in our.
we were talking about the history of it. We were talking about Rodriguez's part. Well, we didn't really know how it had come together or anything like that. It just sort of appeared.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, yes, the backside thing, but I think, personally for me, it was the backside ollie at Meanwhile Gardens.
Yeah, it's gnarly as well.
My favourite, do you know what I mean? Because
there was nothing else on the cover as well, though.
Yeah,
it was just the Sidewalk logo and then you at Meanwhile Gardens. I don't think there was anything else on the cover. It was one of those ones.
Nice.
And it was just me and Wig at the park, and that was it. Do you know what I mean? So it was like, you know, trying to get a session on. Do you know what I mean? To get G'd up, to lob,
Yeah.
pummel myself into the concrete. You know what I mean? But I got lucky and didn't slam too many times. So
You shot a lot with Wig, didn't you? Was that a good relationship over the years? Because there's quite a lot of your photos are Wig or Horsley or.
yeah. I think you know, again, you don't really think about it, but I think that kind of scene, and we travel around a lot with Horsley or with Wig.
Mm.
I think probably Wig. You know, to me, Wig is one of, if not the best kind of photographer. Do you know what I mean?
Skate photographer, definitely.
Underrated. Do you know
And
what I mean?
photographer.
Incredible, yeah.
Incredible. Do you know what I mean? But to me, he was like, he was the equivalent of like your Grant Brittons and do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And like other
definitely.
photographers. Do you know what I mean? And not that I ever looked at him like he was just a friend. Do you know what I mean? Like we just. And we could be all the dude in the gutter. You know what I mean?
He always had such real clear vision of how it would look. He had his composition of photographs always was really strong, wasn't it? Like just how he put a thing together.
Yeah, so I don't know, you know, I think it's just of that time because, you know, it's, you know, at that time, again, there was no mobile phones as such, you know what I mean, and that sort of thing. So it was like people with video cameras, and then it was photographers, do you know what I mean? And most of the stuff came through photographers, and most came if you were a scene of people or if a traveling roadshow, like, you know, traveling roadshow as in like, you know, people traveled up and down the country, do you know what I mean? Like just going house surfing and this, that, the other, and going skate.
Yeah.
And Wig and those guys would capture it. I mean, that's what it was. It wasn't.
I think as well, which is testament. We talked about this before because Carl, you were talking about when Wig came down to Ipswich and stuff like that. They're shooting on film as well, so it's not like now where you've got a digital camera or a mobile phone and you can take loads and loads of shots. They were, do you know what I mean, getting that right moment and capturing those moments on quite a timely process as well. They, do you know what I mean?
Sequences as well on film.
Sequences,
Nuts.
do you know what I mean?
Absolutely nuts.
You've got 36 frames. You've got to get that right, haven't you?
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, you didn't want to waste like film, but like bailing a trick or whatever. You just wanted, you know, you felt pressure, but it was kind of good pressure because you
good pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, it probably made you do it like easier or quicker maybe.
Yeah.
I think also what's nice is like the stuff that's not captured. Do you know what I mean? You know?
The incidental stuff and the bits in the background and the.
I know that's maybe shit to say because people don't see stuff. Do you know what I mean? But it's like, you know, but equally like, I mean, there's so much rad stuff that's done that's not. Do you know what I mean?
I think that is the one positive with digital stuff now is that you get to see everything. And we were talking about this the other day. Like
behind the scenes stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it was things like Thrasher's Rough Cut. You get to see something, all the bales, all the kind of like incidental bits and bobs as they build up to these big epic enders. You see all the kind of
context to the session, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. And I think that's the stuff that makes, I think a lot of, and we were talking about this and we talked about this a lot, the fact that British scene videos, it'd be great to go back and see all that archive footage and those bits and bobs that, because people just didn't put that out. Do you know what I mean? It was like you either put out your best stuff, and we were talking about our credit sequences where that's the gold that you just want to see more of.
Yeah, I love that stuff. Yeah.
Because I think it also back to that. I mean, even things that, you know, thinking back like head cleaner when we were talking about that, but it's like I remember when you know, like Badger and guys that was being edited. You know what I mean? We were looking at my section when we were in London and stuff and living there. And there's like John Robinson, who's like amazing vert skater. Do you know what I mean? And, he turned up with his tapes. I think it turned out his brother taped over his tapes of all of his.
Oh my god!
So John Robinson's section in in Head Cleaner is filmed in 48 hours.
My god!
Section. It's insane.
That's so gnarly.
Yeah, and he didn't win. He just like he just got his board and went with probably with like Kevin Parrott, I think it was. Do you know what I mean? You know,
that is nuts.
And just went and recorded it. So watch and just think that's like 48 hours.
Especially off the back of being really bummed out that
really bummed
tapes
out.
have just got EastEnders on them or something.
His brothers
they're ruined.
Oh my god!
Emmerdale and Coronation Street.
That is crazy.
Alan, I've got one more photo I want to share and just have a little talk about, and it's just we've already kind of mentioned him, and this all kind of linked together. Carl as well. Can you guys see that?
Yep. All good.
Danny and
Nice.
and this is 2001, I think. And Sidewalk. This is a poster in Sidewalk, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was a poster in Taiwan. Yeah.
Nice.
Remember the day of posters?
Shouts me out. She's gonna hate me for it. But I remember I caught up with like other friends and stuff, and Lucy Adams said she had this poster on her wall as well.
Nice.
I had this poster on my wall. I was about to geek out completely and say my first year of uni. This was on my wall. Of course it was.
I'm glad I serviced some wallpaper for everybody.
Yeah, no, mate. This is iconic. I think. Go on, sorry, Carl.
Isn't it 1996? It's not 2001.
Why have I got 2001 in my head?
I don't know.
It says 97 at the top, so I'm so confused now.
Either 96 or 97.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah, I can see it now. It's 97. It's awesome. Okay, it's not 2001.
I'm going to say it's probably before because it's Radland.
Yeah.
Sheep clothing, and then here's these beautiful session stickers. So just when I got back from the US,
Wow.
got my green cords on. Got my green cords.
Green cords.
Oh yeah, green cords.
You know, on the cover as well, you're running those green cords. The Backside 501.
Yeah. I got some green Dickies recently.
I think you are the champion of green trousers. There's not many people who run green trousers, but you are that guy.
Green and khaki. What have I got? Sheep. I think I've probably got sheep shoes on there as well.
Oof, nice.
Maybe that's like a photo incentive thing or something. I don't know.
What was this? Was this an end of the session thing, or was this kind of worked out? Or
so no, I think this is just a usual kind of Radland session, and then obviously the two of us together. I mean, doing the stunts is put together. I think Wig take this. Hopefully,
no, Horsley took this.
Sorry, Horse. so Horse took it. So I don't. Yeah, I mean, I think probably around when I was with like living in Bristol and stuff, maybe as well. And me and Danny kind of skating more and more. And then I always take the piss with Danny and say, like, even though the angle of where it's shot, mine's higher than yours.
Oh. Did he jump straight into an ollie competition after that comment?
Yeah, we're not having an ollie competition. We're doing a grab to fakie on a grab to fakie spine competition.
You won. So I mean,
he's puffing away. Look, and then look, I've got my signature like.
Yeah, you're mellow. Concentration tongue.
Focus.
So was Danny always someone that kind of, again, as we were talking about him off there, but recently they've just 20 years with Vans. Do you know what I mean? That's a real iconic moment, isn't it? Someone's just been ruling for that long, just like
I mean, like Danny. I mean, Danny's like. I mean, look at him as a skateboarder. Do you know what I mean? It's like he's incredible on a board. Look at his kind of career. Look what he's done with like 50-50. Look at how he supports the scene like with Vans and all the other shit he does as well. And he's an amazing artist as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
He's such a creative kind of person. Do you know what I mean? I think it's rad. I didn't know anything about the 20th thing that was coming out with Danny. I literally found it out the same as everyone else. Even
wow.
It just dropped, didn't it?
Yeah. And, dropped a shoe, dropped a sick kind of, 20 years of Danny, do you know what I mean, with Vans.
But that, I was going to say we were talking about music earlier, you mentioned trip hop and things like that. And obviously it's Massive Attack on as the soundtrack. And I was just like, wow, this is such a good, like, nice moment. Everything kind of circles back together and it's just like...
Yeah, and it comes together, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's like, and again, I think, moving... when I moved, I guess I'd just come out from the States and then was kind of loose end, do you know what I mean? So then I moved to Bristol and then, that's when 50 was starting. So, helping when 50-50 started, we're helping bash the shop together with all the original kind of crew, Bash being one of those as well. And, living on Danny's floor, do you know what I mean? Up in and then eventually getting to move there and get a pad and all that sort of stuff with my missus and my wife now, do you know what I mean? But like we had so many like rad kind of moments, do you know what I mean, outside of skating, but then also inside of skating, do you know what I mean, like where I think Danny, and I don't mean it bad, but it's like with the Bristol scene, he was so good and such a rad skater that a lot of people just sit and watch him skate. You know what I mean? I think when we not going to say it's us, but like when we got there, it was like kind of myself, and there was Vaughan, and there was Channa, and there was Manzoori. Do you know what I mean? And we all just went skating all the time. Do you know what I mean? It was kind of like, no, we're not sitting down. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, that was sick. Like, we're going to skate as well. I mean, like, you know. So I think that helped. You know, that was nice for him. Do you know what I mean? Because
helped push him along.
Really,
as
just
well.
kind of big, not celeb, but he was like, you know,
he was though. Do you know what I mean? And the thing is, I still don't think he got the credit that, in the same way we were talking about Moley earlier. There's still not that credit there. The shit that Danny's done, and you only now when you watch that retrospective video, you're just like, oh my god, like. It's just one after the other, like bang, bang, bang. It's just like, wow.
Seriously, one of the best skaters. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, that's gracing the board. I mean,
definitely.
He might, like, you know, say he's not, but he still fucking rips. I mean,
absolutely.
Still puts a lot to shame. But yeah, no, this is like, the picture is like one of those probably drunken sessions at Radlines and late at night.
Nice.
On that beautiful spine ramp again.
It's just iconic, though. It's just iconic. I think it's typical of that kind of time period and those events, those situations and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's just super rad to see. So Alan, just to kind of finish us off, obviously we're talking about you and your skateboarding. Now you're settled in the 01206 area. You've got your own little mini ramp. Am I allowed to say that on here? But fear of people just turning up. You're always out there just trying to keep going. Is that something you're conscious of? You want to keep skating, keep working it?
Yeah. I mean, you know, I mean, I work obviously with it. I work at Vans, do you know what I mean, and stuff. So I'm kind of connected with what's we're doing as a brand. Do you know what I mean? You know, my family life is, you know, I'm in a fortunate spot. I'm in a rural, like, kind of location in the 01206 area. And,
knock, knock.
We brought it home. We brought it home, folks.
Yeah. You know, and when we moved here, it was kind of, I think, you know, first few weeks of being here, I said to Michelle, my wife, I was like, you know, I've always dreamed of having a ramp in the garden, you know. And she's like, it's that, you know, 13, 14-year-old kid in me that's like, I want a ramp.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You know, and then it's like, she was like, well, why not? Fuck it. Like, so, you know,
that's what you want to hear, isn't it?
That is rad.
2 weeks later, it was built. You know, to make sure it's built before there's any change.
Get it done. Get it done.
And
rebuild the 10-footer.
Yeah, exactly. Like 5 years. It's funny because people like I guess like when people might see videos and stuff, it looks really, really small, which it kind of is. It's 4.5, but it's really whippy, and it's kind of,
it looks whippy.
It rides more like a 5-6 foot mini, I mean, rather than a 4 foot mini.
And as we all age, everything above 6 inches becomes dangerous.
Yes, certainly does.
Terrifying.
And then the flat's super small as well. So like, it's funny if you drop in and like do a few grinds, you get spun out.
It's that quick. It's really quick.
So so you have to like slow yourself down.
Slow your roll. Slow your roll.
Slow down.
AP roll. That's what you need.
I don't know. I guess, you know, we're all in a shitty situation with the COVID-19 thing, and occasionally I stick on my stupid live videos, and it's just like, well, fuck it.
It's rad, man. I mean,
that's great.
But that's the shit that keeps people inspired. Like keeping skating stuff. We're all in that same position. We're all using skateboarding as a vehicle for us to kind of exercise whatever shit is kind of congesting up here. And I think it's a really good stuff like this is really good to talk about skateboarding and the pleasure it's given so many people and how it's connected so many people, but also the fact that skateboarding can be this cathartic thing that actually just unleashes or gets rid of some of the shit that it kind of builds up. And I think
therapeutic. Do you know what I mean?
Therapeutic.
For me, like, I mean, it helps massively from a health standpoint. Do you know what I mean? Like going out and skating by myself for a few hours, but then going with friends, it's like it really helped on a mental kind of way. Do you know what I mean? Like
absolutely,
the positivity of the adrenaline rush and like skating and stuff, and I don't know. You know, I mean, you know some of the Colchester boys, Russ, Ben, you know, those guys. Like, I mean, you know, me going skating is generally just with a couple of people. Do you know what I mean? You know, we go out and have a laugh, and that's about it. It's not, you know, never about.
It's not about serious,
Never
but
about-
anything serious. Yeah. I mean, that's the good thing I think about you as well, and having known you for quite a few years, just the fact that even when you move to this area, just bringing that kind of positive vibe that it's just about fun. And I think that's a really strong quality. And everyone we spoke to in these interviews, it's something we've all agreed on at the end, that you just got to use skateboarding to help you through all those things. You know what I mean? Negotiate the kind of world. And I think we all see the world kind of a little bit better because of skateboarding, I think, anyway.
Yeah, massively. We see it through a skateboard lens. Do you know what I mean? We see our skateboard lens, which is to other people's lenses. Not that they're wrong, but you know.
Everyone's entitled to their own lens, but I just think skateboarding allows you to see things. It just allows you to see things a bit differently sometimes.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It was rad, actually. Sorry, Dave. Coming like back to like, you know, moving to Colchester was like not really knowing anybody. Do you know what I mean? And then kind of getting to know a lot of the guys from the kind of scene, like, you know, Dave yourself, like Sam as well, and Bed. Then it's like, you know, like it's that, you know, as you get older, it's like kind of harder to kind of move. Do you know what I mean? Not move, I mean, but when you move places, it's like it's harder to meet people. It's
Definitely.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
And it was rad to kind of, you know, even though you're supporting, I mean, it's rad to kind of be opened up to that still. Do you know what I mean? And kind of you know, still have that scene kind of helps you through the transition of moving in later life.
It's such a universal language, and I think it will continue to be that as long as people treat it in the right way, and as long as people keep seeing it for the positive thing it is, then I think it will continue to connect people together and bring people together in a really nice way. And I think there's not a lot of things that do that at the moment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll be indicating booze does that as well.
Yeah.
Brings people together.
I know the pubs are all open again. So
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's true. I remember Alan turning up on the scene as much as I can, and I think it was brilliant to see him skate, and also because I obviously used to watch Head Cleaner and Junior and the Unipromo, whatever it was, and then almost like without even realizing, it's like, oh yeah, it's Alan. Like, and it was like kind of cool. Like it wasn't, you know, like you go geeky because obviously it was a long time ago, but it's good.
You do get buzzed out. I remember.
Yeah, exactly. It was just cool. It's like they're now in the crew.
Rushbrooke. I've seen him on the front cover of Sidewalk. Even though I'm listening where I live. And I know that cringes you out, Alan. Sorry, but seriously,
I hate it. We're all skateboarders.
I know.
Yeah, but you've got green cords.
You've got green cords, and you were on the cover of Sidewalk.
People can do stuff, and other people do stuff, and some stuff's slightly better than looking than that stuff. And like,
you're not going to beat me. You were on the front cover of Sidewalk, mate. Just accept it and deal with it. You're a legend, brother. You're a legend. You're going to have to deal with that. All right. Right. I think I'm going to leave it there, guys. That's a lovely episode. It's good to catch up with you, Alan. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks, guys, for joining.
They go on for hours. That's the problem, isn't it?
That's the problem. There's so much more we can talk about.
So stop the record. We'll just carry on.
We're doing all
3 days. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot, guys. I'm going to stop the record, and we'll probably carry on afterwards as well.
Yeah.
Take care, everyone. I'll see you all
Cheers,
soon.
guys.
Take
See you in a
care.
bit.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.